Morning, everybody. Jim Adkins here from Adkins Results Coaching. I know, right? We got a show coming up. Got to get started, get a little bit ahead. It takes me a while to get used to that. I think I'm going to stop doing it. I think Steve Perry's just going to have a beard and a mustache from now on. Those of you that know me know what I'm talking about. All right. So we're here today to launch your next 30-day challenge. Now, I'm every time I say that or write it, I have an issue, not really an issue, but the word challenge to me, I think it needs to be changed. I want your goals to be challenging, but I don't want your life to be challenging. Does that make sense? So I'm looking for advice. Your next 30-day workshop is what I put, 30 days to blank, and you get to fill in the blank. And I want you to fill in the blank. So 30 days to what? What is it you're going to achieve in the next 30 days? So today I told you I'd come on here. This is day 0. And what I want you to do today is set your goals. Now, you hear this a lot, and you'll hear it from me a lot. People say, set your goals, and then they don't help you figure out how to set a goal. Some people will tell you, okay, your goals need to be specific and measurable, attainable, relevant, and they have to have a timeline. And I have shared with you before you set out to set a goal, you need to come up with your why. Your why is the part of the goal that drives you forward. But have you ever really thought or struggled with what goal should I set? This is something that a lot of people go through. We'll set a goal. Okay. Well, what? What goal should I really set? And then pretty soon you've got 20 goals because there's a lot of things that you want to do, right? Well, you want to learn a new language. You want to start reading books more. Those two can go hand in hand. You want to lose weight, or you want to be physically fit, or you want to have this type of body, or you want to have this much money, or this kind of relationship, or this car, or you want to live there. These are all goals. They are. But realistically speaking, on this challenge, this 30 days, I want you to understand something. And a lot of people get lost in this, okay? Life is long. Now, I know on the other end of that, you never know when you're going to cash in, or you never know when you're going to lose. But let's not talk about that. Let's just assume for a minute, if you will, that 30 days isn't a long time. If you look back over the last, it's already March. Okay, so 30 days comes and goes. So I'm going to tell you right now, to relieve the stress, take the pressure off of you. You don't have to solve or set all of your life goals right now. This 30-day challenge does not, 30-day workshop does not have to address every area of your life. You can do that as you go forward over the next few 30-day workshops, right? So for this 30-day workshop, pick 1, maybe 2 goals. If you have too many of them, you will get conflicted. One will seem more irrelevant than the other, and then pretty soon you won't be doing anything. That's just a stumbling block for some people, not everybody. So how do you set a goal? And what goal do you choose? Well, you've heard this before, and you can write this down. How do you set a goal? Well, it's easy if you use the acronym, I think it's an acronym, SMART, S-M-A-R-T. So S would be specific. You need to write down your goal specifically, and it needs to be as detailed as possible. If you say you want to make more money, okay, that's not specific enough. How much and by when? Okay, so maybe you're earning $50,000 a year and you want to double that. That's specific. Okay, I want to double my annual income. I want to make $100,000 this year. Or I've heard this said before, I want my annual income to become my monthly income. Now that's specific, but as we go down the list in SMART, you're going to find out something here. I want to make sure this is clear. Be specific. Okay, that's the first key. Be specific and as detailed as possible. I want to lose 100 pounds is specific, but it's general in the broadness of it. You need to break that down into realistic increments so that it can be believable to you. Okay, so this is how you set a goal. SMART, S-M-A-R-T. S stands for specific. M, make it measurable. How's it going, Cindy? There you are. Make your goal measurable. So you need to be able to measure it. So on the weight loss thing, if you got, I'm gonna lose 120 pounds in a year. Well, that's 10 pounds a month. That's a little bit more than 2.3, 2.2. I do the math. A little more than 2 pounds a week. Fairly measurable, really measurable, excuse me, and fairly realistic. If you've got 8 pounds in a month that you can lose, and you take that, 8 or 10 pounds a month, and you take that through to the end of the year, you got 120 pounds that you're going to lose there. So 100 pounds in a year, pretty measurable, right? And pretty realistic. So break it down and be specific, and then take action, of course. But SMA, you'd think is action, but it's not. It's attainable. If you're not paying your bills right now, if you can't financially take care of yourself, and your goal is to make $1 million at the end of the month, that's not very realistic, okay? It's not. And it's not attainable. So when you say that in your head, even though you may want that to happen, you're in the back of your mind, in the realistic sense, you're going, it ain't going to happen. And the energy's conflicting. And no matter how bad you want it or need it, you're gonna set yourself up for failure. So make it a little more attainable. Now, I want it to be challenging. I want your goals to challenge you, but I don't want them to be so far out of reach that you give up or this doesn't work, that type of thing. So SMA, make them attainable. So on the $1 million thing, if you are not paying your bills right now because you're not making enough money, maybe you decide, okay, by the end of next week, I want to create $200 more a week income in my situation. So $200 by the end of next week, more in my situation. And then you get that. And then the next week you say, okay, I want $300 more a week with what I'm doing. Now, on that note, well, I'll come back to it. Okay, so setting a goal, SMART. Be specific, make it measurable and attainable. R was kind of, we just touched on it, make it realistic and relevant. Relevant more than realistic, because we do want to challenge ourselves, right? But we want them to be real. But relevant. So, and we're going to talk about what goals to set. That's the big one today. What goals should we set? So if you're setting a goal to lose weight, and then you decide in your massive action plan on how you're going to do that, you're going to run 20 miles to the donut store every day. Probably not a relevant action plan, right? And then in the process of doing that, you're going to learn to speak. And I heard somebody say this, you're going to learn French. Well, if learning French might be a beautiful language, but if learning French isn't really taking you towards the direction of your important goal, that's another goal that's not relevant. And now we've convoluted, or you've got a mess of things that are going to keep us from attaining a real goal. So make it relevant. And then T, you guys know this one, time. It needs to have a time limit. If you think back to when you were in school and you had an assignment due and it was due in 2 weeks, most of you did not do it day one when you got the assignment. Most of it was done the last 2 days. Why? Because there was a time limit on it and you were supposed to get it done. So put a time limit on your goal. And then break it down in increments so you can measure it. What can be measured can be monitored. What can be monitored can be mastered, right? And vice versa. Okay, so that's basically how you set a goal. Now let's talk about a tough one. How do you choose a goal? What goal should you choose? All right. What area of your life right now causes you blank? What area of your life right now causes you the most, I don't know, what would we say? Excitement. What area of your life causes you the most excitement? What area of your life causes you the most stress? What area of your life causes you most pain? Causes you to feel this way or that way? If you can take that area, write it down. Don't overthink it. Just write it down. Okay, right now it's my finances. Right now it's my relationship. Right now it's my work situation, my career. My house needs repairs, or I'm done living in this area. I want to move to a new area. Remember, moving doesn't solve issues, but if you love a new area and you've seen it, you want to move there and it'll make you feel better. That's different. But you can't run away from your issues. So what area of your life causes you the most blank? Maybe that's the goal you're going to change or fix today or set today. Set out to change that. Well, how do you decide or know how to change it? Well, if you need help, reach out to me. I'll give you, some free coaching right now. Just reach out, type in here, or contact me in the email or messenger, or even call me if you want to, and tell me, okay, this is the area of my life that's causing me this. And it could be excitement. I'm really excited about this new prospect or project or idea that I come up with, and I don't know how to get started. That's awesome. Let's make that your goal. For the next 30 days, I'm going to give you steps the day before on what to do next, and little clues and little ideas on how to stay on track and on target. And then at the end of 30 days, we're going to be able to look back and measure this. And a good thing to do would be to take pictures. If it's physical, take physical pictures. If it's financial, take notes. Write down your take journal entry. I don't know if you guys keep a checkbook. Remember checkbooks? Get an accounting book and write down your positions in finances and see where you're at. If it's your investments or your savings or retirement, do that. If it's a business, you can take a snapshot of where you're at right now. So when you look back, you can go, holy crap, look what I've accomplished, and skyrocket off of that. All right, so that's it for today. How do you set a goal? Excuse me, I get a little cloggy, and I know that's rude on here, but it's just what's going on. Smart. Be specific, make it measurable, attainable, and relevant, and give it a time limit. And then how do you choose, or what do you choose your goal? Pick an area of your life that causes you the most blank: excitement, distress, comfort. And if that doesn't work, you can always, what excites you? What thought process or potential future outcome or doing excites you? Now, if you want to practice goal setting and make this 30-day challenge about a vacation, do it, because you're going to practice the art of goal setting, and you can have a blast doing that. An education. Now, for my black belts, I've got one that's going to be going to third black, and he's been working a long time on this, but he has not yet stepped up and done this exercise. And really, I want him to make sure that this is happening. I got a couple other people that are coming up to black belt the next year and within the next year, and I want them to do the same thing. Becoming a black belt is not about getting the belt. And once you understand that as a student, it's easier to watch the perpetuated growth. But if you don't have a snapshot of where you were, it's hard to understand just how far you've come. You get to that point and you become the black belt, just like any goal. You get to the end of your goal or that one marking point, and you don't remember all of the work that you put in because it was all worth it. It was all a part of the doing, and it's set with you. And that's how every goal is. So take a snapshot at the beginning so that you can go back and celebrate your achievements. All right, cool. Yeah, one thing I found some numbers I would like to throw out at you, and then I'll say goodbye. Get up earlier than everybody else. You hear people talk about this? Well, if you get up an hour earlier, and not just get up, but if you get moving an hour earlier in the morning than you normally do right now, you will have 6.5 40-hour weeks in a year more than you do now. I don't have the time. Get up an hour earlier, and you've just given yourself 6.5 full 40-hour weeks by the end of the year. 6.5. Probably more than your competition. Probably more than your neighbor. Think about it. All right, if you need help, reach out to me. Jim Adkins here, signing off and telling you until next time, on your mark, get set, grow. Bye, Cindy.